Bison Basketball Show with NDSU head coaches Dave Richman and Jory Collins. The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life.
3 straight days, though. Nice feed to Harden Hayes for the finish.
Two-man game there for the Bison in that Tuesday matchup versus St. Thomas, and a busy week for David Richman and his NDSU men's basketball team. 3-game week while the NDSU women took on the tough South Dakota schools last week. Welcome into the Bison Basketball Show. My name is Jeff Culhane, and here to start this one off, as always, with the head coach, David Richman. Coach, we approach the final month of the regular season here, February. I know it's crazy to think about, but your team has made some significant strides in the last 12 to 15 days or so. What do you like about your guys right now?
I think definitely, Jeff, our mindset and our mentality has changed. We're playing with a better understanding of the urgency. 40 minutes, and that's the place that you need to start. If you don't have that, you have no chance. And now, I think as you talk about it, the weather might not feel like it, but this is a wonderful time of year for us, and we need to clean up some things from an execution standpoint. But we're trending in the right direction with some healthy bodies. We need to keep that going. Yeah. That's wood that I'm knocking on there, Jeff. And just keep this moving. Keep that mindset, keep that urgency that we need, but also clean up some execution things.
As we mentioned, a busy week, 3 games last week for David Richman and the Bison. Let's go right to the highlights. And last Tuesday, the Tommies of St. Thomas. Interesting story. Division III to Division I. I think this was a game for a lot of fans out there sort of wondering what the measuring stick would look like. I know things a little slow early for your guys, but after the first 10 minutes or so, wow, they took over in a big-time way.
Yeah, I was very pleased. We got a terrific win at Oral Roberts the Saturday before this Tuesday game, Jeff, and that's a big rise where you getting up to play a really good opponent on the road and to come back and play a newbie like St. Thomas in our league. I didn't know how our guys were responding, and I thought we were a little passive offensively to start, but as engaged as I've seen us play, as much urgency as I've seen us play with defensively for 40 minutes. And after we settled in offensively, we really took care of business, and really a start to finish win that we can build on and be proud of.
There's that 2-man game right there. We'll talk about that a little more in depth later on for the Bison, as Malik Harden Hayes going up high and coming down hard with a 2-hand cram right there. Another fun tidbit, I would say, more than fun for you. You got Grant Nelson back in this game as well.
Yeah, it certainly helps, Jeff. That's a very talented young man, and as a coach and as a coaching staff, you learn you're going to go as your talented guys go. And in this game, Grant showed some rust. He got in some foul trouble, and a lot of foul trouble. But he also showed his capabilities, too, and going 3 from 3 from the field, and uses his length and discipline defensively. And it's encouraging to obviously have him back. He's clearly not the full version of himself before the injury, but we got to start to chip off some of that rust, and I thought over the last 3 games he was able to do some of that.
Great hustle on that last play right there. Tyree Edey has also come into his own in a big-time way. We'll talk about him as our Gate City Bank recap pops up. 77-56. It was actually 77-47 before St. Thomas got a few garbage baskets late in this game. Total domination. As you mentioned, I love your defensive effort. I mean, the Tommies, I think, early felt really good because they had a lead and an early lead against your guys, and then the flip switched and the water got shut off in a hurry.
No question, and they can really spread you out. They play with terrific pace and space, 2 keys to offense. But we've talked a lot about owning your yard, guarding your man, and our guys really did that. They sat down and they guarded, they executed some ball screen coverages for us. We were able to finish possessions. When we can get stops, finish possessions, and get out on the break, that's when we're the best version of ourselves, Jeff, is playing both ends like that.
Talk to me about Malik Harden Hayes and his rise here over the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's fun to see, and I know we're going to talk about that clip a little bit more, but you're talking about 2 local products that are continuing to grow and continuing to shine. Malik's certainly a superior athlete, got great length and athleticism, but to his credit, he continues to expand his game with an understanding. And it's fun to see him having success because in a lot of ways, Malik brings that spirit and joy for us, and a big part of our successes.
All right, something new here on the Bison Basketball Show. Coach is going to go to work for us as we take a look in the background. A little bit of a zone buster play here. They go zone on you. Kind of walk us through how this works, Coach.
Yeah, really a start to finish in this whole thing, Jeff. It's a 2-for-1 situation towards the end of the half where we called a timeout to set up a play. To St. Thomas's credit, they came out and switched from man to zone. But we teach our guys, going all the way back to the summer, Jeff, is we teach our guys to play basketball. And they really did it. Bowden, in a zone situation like this, uses a ball fake, gets a couple guys to guard him, drops a nice bounce pass, and Malik showing his length and athleticism too. So a fun little clip there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm very proud of the guys just being able to go out and execute, because St. Thomas makes an adjustment. It's something where as a staff you don't want to take a timeout again, but our guys are just playing basketball, Jeff. That's the biggest thing.
Yep, good ball movements and good identification of that coming out of the timeout by the NDSU men. Coming up next on the Bison Basketball Show, it was a swing through the Southern Dakota for NDSU, USD, and South Dakota State on the road. Always two hard-fought matchups. We'll talk about those games when we return.
Better starts with convenience. Our 43 convenient locations make running errands easy. Better starts with trust. You can trust that your pre-approval is guaranteed on closing day, which is one less thing to worry about. Better starts with saving you money. No ATM fees and no minimum balances mean how you spend your money is up to you. Because at Gate City Bank, better starts with you. And this means better ways to brighten your day. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever. Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever.
And welcome back, Bison Basketball Show, here with the head coach, David Richman. My name is Jeff Culhane, and Coach, always a tough swing through the Southern Dakota. Back on the road again for your basketball team. You've gotten used to that bus here over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and this swing wasn't any different too. And going in, it's going to be a battle. And to our guys' credit, we pushed through and got one. Unfortunately, weren't able to get that last one too. Some learning experiences, but also fun. I mean, as a competitor, there's certainly challenges. There's challenges when you go on the road, and there's obviously challenges when you go on the road against a good opponent. And Thursday's overtime victory against a USD team that had won 5 in a row in league was a great step for us.
Two great games. It started Thursday night in Vermillion at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. And as Coach mentioned, a USD team winning 5 in a row. Both teams tied at 5-3 in the Summit League. Every time you go down here, no matter what the records are, it has a little rivalry feel to it. It's always tight basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and you can talk about rivalries with UND, with South Dakota State. Anytime you put a Dakota on the end of it, and with us, and obviously probably with them, they'll tell you the same thing. It does feel like a little bit of a rivalry. Just close games, no matter records, no matter where. And this one obviously certainly was no different. And that first clip we showed, Jeff, is really who we want to be offensively. When we're touching the post, playing inside out, and Tyree Edey getting a great post touch and hitting Malik on an inside out shot is Bison basketball. And not the execution that we would have loved down the stretch. We missed some ball screen coverages. We missed a box out situation. But fortunately, we caught a break. We did. We'd call it any other way. And then our guys were terrific. As locked in, that was a huge three to just kind of get that weight off our backs a little bit by Tyree. and we settled in. And I think they got 2 points in overtime, I believe, and that was kind of a throwing-in shot. And our guys locked in and finished. And something we talk about seeing improvements, Jeff. That Western Illinois overtime game, we did not execute with poise in overtime, and this one was certainly a growing experience and fun to see that change in progress.
Gate City Bank game recap right there. The Bison outscore USD 14-2 in overtime. Sam Griesel, first double-double of the season, 20 and 11. Tyree Edey, 17 points, and it was that close off the fingers of Tassos Kamateros at the end where we went to that extra period. Rocky Cruiser didn't have his best offensive game, but made some big shots down the stretch, and his teammates, obviously, as you see here, picked him up in a big-time way. Well, no rest for the weary as the Bison were able to hub out of Sioux Falls, and you go right up north now, up I-29 to Frost Arena, literally the toughest place to play and win on the road in Division I men's college basketball, and your guys came out swinging for 40 minutes.
Yeah, we did, and I didn't love, you talk about coming out. We could have came out a little bit better. I thought they got some easy things based on some things that we weren't locked in on in some ball screen coverages, and that's what good teams are going to do. But our guys, to your point in the prior segment, our mentality has really changed, and we responded. I thought we showed a lot of toughness, a lot of grit. We made some big plays, big shots offensively. To do what we did and hold a team that I don't know if I've seen offensive numbers like South Dakota State has had, and to go in and to hold them in 1 of 12 from 3 and hold them under 44% from the field at their place is terrific. That being said, there's plenty of execution things that we did not do a good job of, and that's on myself and our staff to continue to work with the guys. I thought some foul trouble, too. Really hurt us and took some key guys off the floor for us, but also put an excellent foul shooting team in South Dakota State at the line, and they got paid there.
I know Rocky maybe a little slow getting going to start this game on both ends, but once he did get going, he was pretty solid for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of, if not the best player on the floor, and you knew it would happen. Rocky didn't play very well, to your point, Thursday in Vermilion, and he really responded here at Frost, and that's what you expect from your big-time players, and he's one of them, and all those guys. Tyree has been different. You see in that clip there, he's just got that refuse-to-lose mentality. Sam was great at USD and made some big plays in this game as well, and we really talked about it. It's getting some rust back off Grant. It's getting some guys to have a better understanding of execution things on both ends of the floor. I know that's not the clip that Bowden wants to see or I want to see of Bowden, but that young man has made some huge strides over the last 3-4 weeks, and even made some offensive strides in this game as well, and some encouraging things for all of us to build off of.
Yeah, Bowden Skunberg in that first half might have been the best player on the floor for you. I mean, it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, and I think, Jeff, to your point, he's just you and I have talked about it. The game's slowing down for him. He competes his tail off defensively, and really, in a lot of ways, guarding the opponent's best perimeter player, one of them. And the game's starting to slow down a little bit for him offensively, and that's fun to see.
It was 71-70 with 1:20 to go, and we had some looks, just unable to knock them down, and South Dakota State made their free throws down the stretch to win this one 80-76. I know Coach and the guys are hoping for another chance at the Jackrabbits in Sioux Falls that first week in March. Well, you get a couple days here to kind of breathe a little bit, and then another swing where you have 5 games in 9 days, and it's back at it.
Yeah, and we, most importantly, we need to take advantage of these 3 days before we get into our Omaha-Denver weekend, because there's some rest that's needed. But we also haven't had a lot of time to practice and clean up some execution things, too. And I'm pleased with our effort, our understanding, with how hard and how much urgency we need to play with. Now some execution things down the stretch. And when we got going with this stretch, Jeff, it ended up being a good rhythm. And we need to find that rhythm again here real soon.
Yep. Coach, great weekend, and best of luck this weekend ready.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep. That's the head coach, David Richman. Coming up next, NDSU women's basketball coach Jory Collins stops by to talk about his women's squad right now, heading into the final month of the regular season.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye, the loudest flavors ever.
It's time appliances had a personality, yours. And the professionals at Regal's can help. With the Cafe Appliances Remodel Reward, receive up to a $2,000 rebate with the purchase of select Cafe appliances now through June 30th at Regal's. Plus free delivery, free setup, and free recycling of your old appliances. Find out why no one delivers more value than Regal's. GE, good things for life. Regal's, 609 Main Avenue, Moorhead.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever.
This one's for every sports fan who just spent the entire game explaining to someone the entire game. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Rolling into the second half of our show here in this one, much like we're rolling into the final month of the regular season. Talked about it earlier. Crazy to think about it. February upon us. Jory Collins with us as well, NDSU women's head basketball coach. Great to see you as always.
You too, Jeff.
Here we go, final month, Coach. And I know there's still time to make amends, execution, some tweaks here and there, but also got to have some urgency here down the stretch for everyone.
Yeah, no question. I know we have 7 games left. It's been pretty up and down for us and difficult in some spots, but we're looking forward to the month of February. We're going to make it our best month of the year. 7 games that we feel good about, all 7 we got a chance to win those, and it's an opportunity for us to go do some things in a row and create some momentum going into the conference tournament.
Yep. Anytime you have the South Dakota schools on the schedule, you're going to have some measuring stick moments and some big challenges. And the Bison opened up Thursday night at the Shack with USD. And you don't have to say much when the Coyotes come to town. You got to be ready to rock and roll. You were early in this game, did some very good things to start this contest out.
Yeah, we were ready to play in both of these basketball games. Came out and executed in the first quarter. I think we scored on our first 3 possessions. They are a phenomenal defensive team, and I think setting a conference record for points allowed in conference play this year at 50 or below. And people's field goal percentage against them is well down into the 30s. We came out and executed and got off to a really good start. The difference in this game became our turnovers on the offensive end. Led to so many points for those guys that it was really hard for us, to put runs together without turning the ball over. We had multiple people making plays, but again, the giveaways were the difference. We got it stretched out there they built an 18, 17-point lead. We were able to cut that back close to single digits in the second half. For a while, but just too little too late. Hamling was really good. Schulte's been coming on lately. Did a great job getting to the basket for us in that game.
Gate City Bank game recap right here. You mentioned Abby Schulte. What have you liked from her over the last few weeks or so?
Well, I just feel like her urgency's picked up a little bit. She's been there defensively for us the majority of the year and all of last year as a freshman. But offensively lately, she's put her head down a little bit more often, got to the rim, got to the free throw line. I think in that particular game, she was 6 of 8 from the free throw line. So did a good job drawing contact and just being a little more assertive on that end of the floor for us.
Talk about Don Plitzowite's group defensively and the strain they put on opposing offenses. What is it about how they play that gives you the most problems?
There's no secret. They're just so physical. They're very, very tough. They're very, very strong. You don't get to cut anywhere without getting chucked. You don't get to cross the lane without getting butt bumped around and off your space. They just do a good job of making everything hard, and you have to earn every single basket you get against them. And when you turn it over, you just lose those opportunities. The opportunities you have are going to be hard, but you can't give away extra ones either.
USD with the win Thursday night at the Shack against Jory Collins and the NDSU women. Another opportunity on Saturday as the South Dakota State Jackrabbits came to town to take on the Bison of North Dakota State. We'll take a look at that and more as we come back. And when we return, a recap of the NDSU-SDSU game at the Shields Center coming up on the Bison Basketball Show.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Egg Country offers a wide range of internal growth. If you have a goal in mind and you put your mind to it, your successes can be endless.
There are so many jobs within this company that you can rotate into.
I like challenges. Egg Country gives me challenges.
Yeah, Egg Country is a great place to work. There's plenty of flexibility. You're never tied to your desk. There's a team here that is always there for you.
Yeah, grab your role and run with it. And always be aware of the opportunities because they're in front of you.
Better starts with convenience. Our 43 convenient locations make running errands easy. Better starts with trust. You can trust that your pre-approval is guaranteed on closing day, which is one less thing to worry about. Better starts with saving you money. No ATM fees and no minimum balances mean how you spend your money is up to you. Because at Gate City Bank, better starts with you. This means better ways to brighten your day. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life.
This one's for every sports fan who just spent the entire game explaining to someone the entire game. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Upcoming games for the NDSU men and women. The women on the road. Road Warriors this week. They head down to Baxter Arena Thursday night, taking on the Mavericks from Omaha. Maybe a little revenge factor here, a little juice for your gals in this one, Coach?
Man, I hope so, Jeff. I think, you know, there's several games this year I wish we could have back. And that one's probably at the top of the list. Our start in the first quarter there just really didn't give us the chance. That was maybe one time this year. I don't know that we were completely ready to play. And we've had our struggles, but I've been really pleased with our team giving a full 40 the majority of the year and playing hard. That was one game I'd sure like to come back and do again, and I know our players didn't feel good about that performance. So I know the next couple days in our prep for Omaha, they'll be ready to redeem themselves a little bit.
Then heading out west to the Rocky Mountains, taking on a Denver team. I know you have a lot of respect for that coaching staff out there.
Yeah. You know, somebody I've known for a long time. You know, Dosha's is from Topeka, Kansas. I think he even recruited her a little bit when she was coming out of high school, and you know, has done a great job trying to get that program established. They're a big-time three-point shooting team, kind of live and die by the three, multiple people playing it. So it's a different prep for those guys. You know, having to play them there and on the road will always be a challenge, but I'm excited to get on the road, actually, get our group kind of away and get together in the hotel and in the practice gym and just go try to get 2 games this week.
Omaha Thursday, Denver Saturday on the road. Baxter Arena, Hamilton Gymnasium for the NDSU women, the 2 sites in Summit League play. South Dakota State coach, biggest transition from USD to SDSU with style of play when you prepare with a 24-hour turnaround?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's not that big a difference. The size is the same. I would say USD is a little more perimeter oriented. SDSU is a little more in the lane and paint oriented. And that's where they got us. They really got us in and around the basket. They scored 44 points in the paint. You know, Emily Dietz was in foul trouble in both of those games. She played 35 out of 80 possible minutes this weekend, and we were only -1 when she was in the game. When she wasn't in the game, it was a little more difficult for us to be stout in and around the rim. And SDSU took advantage multiple times. You know, we came out in that game in the third quarter. We traded baskets. We looked like we belonged. We scored 24 points in a quarter against them, but we couldn't get the stops we needed on the other end. And that ended up being the separator in that particular game. We were battling, but just not enough depth inside and be able to, you know, handle their physicality.
Yeah, let's roll the highlights. Take a look at it from Saturday night at the Shield Center inside the Sanford Health Athletic Complex. The Bison women looking to grab an opportunity here against South Dakota State. And you know Heaven Hamlin always is going to be ready to go.
She's been consistent all year. You're going to go under ball screens on Heaven. She's obviously capable of stepping behind and making those. Olivia's come on lately as a shooter for us as well, stepped into a stagger three. And Ryan, this is back-to-back possessions early where we executed a couple things against what we thought they were going to be doing defensively and did it well and ended up finishing those plays. Had multiple people come in and play a lot of minutes. Katie Hildebrandt did a good job getting in there, getting her feet wet against those. She didn't get to play the first time around against those two programs, so good eye-opener for her. And like we've said before, these games are measuring sticks, Jeff, and it's really a good learning experience for us as coaches on what we need, where we got to go, where we're at currently. You know, we just needed more of that right there. We needed Emily Dietz to be able to play more minutes. It's a 10-point game in the first half, and they had 14 more shots than we did. Yeah. You just can't give good teams that many more opportunities in those games.
Well, you talk about that. First half of play, you made some things happen from behind the perimeter. In fact, the entire game, 20 made field goals, 11 of them from downtown.
Right, and we needed them because it was just hard for us without Dietz in there to be able to get an inside presence and score in and around the basket. We shook it loose a little bit on the perimeter and like you said, made 11 threes, but we needed a little more in between in that particular game.
Gate City Bank game recap here. South Dakota State the winner in Fargo, 76-60, as the Bison women knocked down 7 threes in the first half in this contest. But SDSU just a little bit too much overall. Take me through now. You move forward. What are your big takeaways from this last weekend and what you want to see here in the next 7 games for your group?
We have to get our depth established. We do just fine 1 through 5 and maybe 1 through 6, but we really need some consistent efforts out of 7, 8, and 9 to be able to sustain some momentum in games and to play for 2 or 3 minute stretches and, you know, just hold the fort down and not put us in a hole. And that's kind of been the separator here recently in some of those games. So, you know, if we can get those guys consistently to perform at just a average pace, then we'll be able to hang, and especially with the teams we're playing here down the stretch, we're going to have a chance to win some games.
Yep. Coach, thanks for the time as always. Safe travels and best of luck this week. We'll talk to you next week on the show. Yeah. That's a head coach, Jory Collins of the NDSU women. My name is Jeff Culhane. Big thanks to David Richman as well, our WDAY team, and the team at Halberstad's West Acres, the official men's clothiers of the Bison. Have a great day, everyone.
The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life.